Stop using pixels for the font sizes in your website, because by doing this, you're making your websites inaccessible. Instead, you should use units like rem, as I would be showing you in this video. So let's say we have this simple example here. I have my div landing, then I have main heading, and I have this P element here. For the style, the landing is a flex. For the main heading, I have this whole style here. Here I'm doing this nice effect with background clip where I can put this background of linear gradients. For the text, the simple style in here for the bio. Now for the font size of the main heading, I have 50 pixels. For the bio, I have a font size of 20 pixels. Now everything works fine here, but the problem now is when the user wants to set the preferences of either their device or their browser. In this case, I have the appearance settings for my Edge browser. I can see here that I can increase the font size for the browser. Now, different users like changing their preferences. For some users, maybe they prefer larger text on screen. For some other users, maybe they want smaller text on screen. But by using pixels for your font sizes, your users will not have the ability to change that preference for your website. And what do I mean by this? So if I come here now and I increase the font size, currently it's at 28 and I think it's 28 pixels. You can see that nothing happens to your website. The H1 text, the P text stays the same, and that's because we are using pixels. Now a better unit you can use for font sizes is rems. Let's start from font size of 1 rem. So what is the rem unit? Well, the rem unit is equivalent to the root font size. So the root font size is what you have on your HTML. So in my HTML here, if I have a font size of 16 pixels, anywhere I refer to rem, 1 rem is going to equal 16 pixels. And that means 2 rem is going to equal 2 times 16, 32 pixels. But it is also not a good practice to be customizing the font size of the HTML element. Instead, that should come from the user's browser or the user's device setting. So if I take this line off, the font size for the HTML is going to be what the user has configured. In this case, the font size for the HTML is going to be 28 pixels. And now when I come here and I do 2 rem, it's going to be 2 times 28. But first, let's start from 1 rem. Now if I come here and I refresh this website, the H1 now has 1 rem, and 1 rem is 28 pixels. If I come here now and I increase this font size for my preference, you can see how the H1 is also increasing, and I can also go down to super tiny. So this is 10 pixels for the H1. So by coming here now, I can do maybe 4 rem, which is going to be 4 times the user's standard font size. And then for the bio here, I can also give this a font size of 1.5 rem. And if the user says they like seeing large font sizes and they increase this, well, your website adapts appropriately. And of course, it gets to a point where you may need to do some responsiveness. Everything becomes super big now. If a user says they want something super tiny, you can give them something super tiny instead of keeping constant sizes in font sizes, and makes it impossible for your users to control those things. When I posted a video like this a few days ago on TikTok, one of the questions I got was, if you're getting your sizes from Figma and it's in pixels, how do you convert that pixels to rem? Well, you can do a simple calculation in your CSS. So for this H1, we can do font size, and then we use the calc function, and then let's say 50 pixels is coming from your Figma. You have 50 divided by 16, assuming 16 is the standard font on Figma, and then you have multiplied by 1 rem. And with this simple calculation here, you can convert any pixel size from your Figma or whatever design to rem. In the case of 50, this is going to be 50 divided by 16. Well, the 1 rem is currently 9. It's going to be 50 divided by 16 times 9. If I refresh this now, we have that for the H1, and let's say this is now 16 pixels as the standard. Well, if it is the 16 pixels that the user configures, well, that is going to be 50 divided by 16 multiplied by 16, which is going to be 50 pixels at the end of the day. And we can repeat this same thing for the bio. Maybe from Figma, what comes from Figma is 25. This is going to be 25 divided by 16 times 1 rem, and yeah, now we have this. And if the user should change these settings here, it's also going to apply to this. And if you're using Sass instead of CSS, you can even come here and create a mixin. Here we have a mixin called calculate rem, which takes a value, and then we do value divided by 16 plus rem. So this way, if we do calculate rem for 18, let me move this one here. If we come here and we check, you can see currently we have 1.125 rem. If I change this to 16, you see this becomes 1 rem, because that's going to be 16 divided by 16 plus rem. And with 1 rem, if the font size here, the standard font size here is 15, or that means the H1 is going to be 15. And if you increase this, it's also going to affect, you can see how the hello here is increasing. So with SCSS, it even makes it easier for you to put this logic in a mixin, and then you can use that mixin anywhere by passing your pixel values. So I hope this video helps you understand why it's important to use relative units like rem for font sizes. Users like configuring different things in their devices or browsers, including font sizes, and you want to give them a good experience, an accessible experience where you give them what they prefer instead of keeping everything static like you have with pixels. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with others, and follow me for more CSS videos like this.